Today we're going to be looking at how to retell a nonfiction text. We already know a lot about retelling. We've done it a lot. But usually when we've done it in the past, we've been retelling stories that were fictional. They were not informational. So when we have retold stories in the past, we've used the 5-finger retell. Our first finger is our characters, second finger setting, and then we have our beginning, middle, and end. But what do we want to do when we're retelling an informational book? How are we going to retell it? Well, you can still do a 5-finger retell. It will just look a little bit different. Let's look at what it's like. When retelling an informational text, you're going to start by retelling the topic. What was the book mostly about? Then you are going to tell a couple facts from the book, the most important facts. You can choose to tell 2 or 3 facts. After that, you're going to tell your favorite thing that you learned from the text. Then, last thing you'll say is something you wonder about the text. I'm going to give you an example. I'm reading this book about gardening. I see in the table of contents that it has 3 chapters. We're just going to work on retelling the first chapter right now. It's titled, Let's Plant a Garden. Chapter 1, Let's Plant a Garden. It's spring. Let's plant a garden. It's fun and easy to grow colorful flowers, scented herbs, and healthy foods. Where will you plant your garden? Most plants need a lot of sunlight. Find a space in your yard that faces south. It gets the most sun. Did you know? Don't have room for a garden? If your town has a community garden, ask a parent or guardian if you can get space there. Before you can plant outside, you need to till the soil. This gets it ready for planting. Don't forget to dig up weeds. They can make your plants weak. Garden fork. And here's the start to chapter 2. But I don't need to read that yet because I need to stop and think. How am I going to retell my story? Well, we need to think back to our 5-finger retell. The first thing is the topic. What was it mostly about? Well, it was mostly about how to get started with your garden. So I'm going to type that. The chapter was mostly about how to get started with your garden. All right, the next thing I need to see is what was a fact that we learned from the chapter. Well, one fact I learned is that you need a lot of sun when planting a garden. So I'll add that. Gardens need sunlight. Plant your garden in a sunny place. Next, I need another fact. Well, another fact I learned was that you need to till the soil and get rid of weeds. Make sure you till the soil and get rid of weeds. Our next step was to write our favorite thing that we learned. Well, my favorite thing that I learned was that if you don't have room for a garden, you can see if your community has a garden and plant one there. If you don't have space for a garden, see if your community has a garden. And then the last question was, what do you wonder? So after reading this, what do I wonder about starting a garden? I see here in this picture a garden fork. I wonder what other tools you need to get started with a garden. I wonder what tools are needed to start a garden. And there it is. I've retold that whole first section. The chapter was mostly about how to get started with your garden. Gardens need sunlight. Plant your garden in a sunny place. Make sure you till the soil and get rid of weeds. If you don't have space for a garden, see if your community has a garden. I wonder what tools are needed to start a garden. And there you have it. We retold the first chapter in our book. Remember the 5-finger retell for informational books. Tell the topic, tell a fact, tell another fact, tell your favorite thing you learned, and then last, something you wonder or a question you have about the story. All right, that's all for today.